Alright guys, TacticalRab here, and today I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Day 2 of Major 3 is coming up shortly, but it was SlasheR that got the final laugh of Day 1, going DEFCON 1 on Los Angeles Thieves after their series last night. Scump thought it was maybe rather toxic, but he basically says that they were abusing the sound equalization setting online. They can't do so much on LAN anymore, and that's why FaZe came out on top in a dominating series. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. First of all, just wanted to share this here from Crimsix. Got a nice tattoo. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, he tweeted out like, if I get 100,000 likes on this, he'll get some sort of a robot tattoo thing going on. But he's got this instead. The 38 championships, of course. People were joking around if he's in prison. Like, you know, what would they think this was? He got 38, you know, has he got 38 confirmed kills? Or has he got 38 championships? So pretty nice. Obviously, it would have been nice if it had been 40, but still, nonetheless, thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Intrigued to hear yours in the comments below. But let's talk about this FaZe Thieves series, because this was over so quickly, and SlasheR was kicking his feet up and just enjoying the ride here. And Octane, of course, 0-6, dropped the donut in the Game 2 Search and Destroy. Flashbacks, I'm sure, to Bacage last year when, you know, Thieves are kind of going down to that map at times to FaZe, and Octane had the double donuts, of course, in that pretty memorable series. You guys that may well remember. And the overall numbers here, I didn't really even look on the Thieves side, but Drazah 28 and 50, 0.56 KD, wasn't looking so good for him. And I mean, look, when the Tiny Terrors both have 1.4s, it's just over, especially when Cell's got a trademark 1.6 as well. Remarkable stuff. So these were the immediate reactions after the series here, with SlasheR throwing up the birds, right? Because you guys might well remember after the World Championship last year, in fairness, SlasheR wasn't on that team with FaZe at the time, but when Drazah beat them at the World Championship, he threw the birds up across the stage. All that drama between Drazah and FaZe, and you know, FaZe win the rivalry for now. They beat them in the grand finals at Major 2, and on LAN, they still win the rivalry as it stands. Yes, Thieves did win 3-1 online. They won all the respawns in that series, and FaZe won the Search and Destroy as they did again in this one. But yeah, SlasheR's just going to show, look, this is LAN now, this is our territory, and this is what we're about to do. And I've got to share the interviews here that SlasheR did afterwards, because, okay, Scump is commenting on this moment and saying, oh, you know, SlasheR's getting pretty toxic. And I mean, look, SlasheR's obviously full of confidence right now, and why wouldn't he be? As a main AR, this is your dream environment to be teamed with Cellium, Simp, and aBeZy, and it's working out for them right now. And they destroyed Thieves, who are arguably, and maybe still are, the second best team in the game as it stands. Now, his interview after the series is remarkable, right? Not only talking about how he built their camp from the ground up, because, I mean, you could even argue that when SlasheR initially came into 100 Thieves, way back in the day in Black Ops 4, like, obviously everyone joined it with SlasheR at the same time, but he made progressions with that team. And maybe some of those players that are on that team right now, the likes of Kenny, the likes of Octane, even Drazah, potentially on the OpTic in Los Angeles team a couple of years ago. SlasheR has teamed with those guys and believes that effectively he taught them how to play, and they owe a lot of their success to him, which I thought was quite the statement. But also mentioning specifically the loudness equalization setting that some have considered to be cheating. Certainly SlasheR's made that thought across over the last couple of weeks. Then again, we heard rumors that Cellium turned it on online just to make sure, but we know the majority of FaZe, I would say, didn't use it. SlasheR certainly didn't use it. I think that was quite clear by some of the clips of where he was getting caught out by people flanking without dead silent online. But you know, he reckoned that Thieves were using it at the time, and here we are on LAN, and Thieves get 3-0'd in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, Thieves got into the fake.
Whoa! SlasheR with the little pistols coming out. Yo, little birds flying across the stage.
Yeah!
We all built little birds.
Yo, SlasheR's toxic!
Oh, toxic!
Thieves dropped him. He doesn't give a f. That hat's on tight, and he's loving it. And those tight-ass jeans with that tight-ass hat.
Yo, SlasheR's flipping birdies.
Yo, little birds.
That is outrageous.
Right.
And SlasheR.
Thank you so much, Bryce. Yes, indeed. SlasheR from Atlanta FaZe joining me after a very, very interesting 3-0. Also, I gotta say, man, we were hyping this up, right? It's the fourth matchup. You know, we've seen you guys constantly in grand finals. You guys came out and made that look easy.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been saying it online the whole time. Online respawns are different. No sound EQ. We're a way different team, and we just showed it right there. Also, people seem to forget who built that camp. I know how they play. I taught those kids how to play Call of Duty. So don't forget that. All right? Like, let's get that straight.
You can come to Arlington and we can get.
Why is wait? Why did Ender just tweet out yo?
Saw that. I was gonna say that.
Dude, Ender tweeted yo.
That's kind of petty.
Was a statement.
Yo, Ender's going crazy.
The main chat.
And I'm sorry.
So what do you guys think about this, right? Is SlasheR just feeling himself too much at this point? I know that Method has got some thoughts on it at this point. Look, it's only the first series of the tourney, and their matches to come might well even be harder, but still, SlasheR was certainly making his thoughts be known. People are like, oh, you know, he's only talking big now because he's playing with the Tiny Terrors and Cellium, which, fair enough, but also SlasheR's been a big part of their success, I think, so far this season, especially in the Search and Destroy. It's sending their record to 13 is unbelievable, but also, is there anything behind this Loudness equalization cheating type stuff? Because we expected possibly certain teams that had done well online to maybe not do quite as well on LAN based on them using this sound cheating thing. Okay, it's a sound setting that's enabled in your Windows settings. It's disabled by the CDL on their PCs on LAN, but you can't really enforce it online, and therefore some have certainly been using it based on the information we have. SlasheR considers that cheating. Some would say maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But teams in the bottom four, and maybe even teams like Los Angeles Thieves based out in LA for the online matches, which can be a bit of a challenge, might have been using it to their advantage and are now maybe getting exposed to on LAN. Now, in fairness, right, Thieves are not exactly onliners, right? I mean, they're usually much better on LAN than they are online, and I wouldn't be surprised if Thieves make a very decent losers bracket run again in this tournament. It's going to be challenging for them to make it all the way as they did previously in Major 2, but remember Major 2, they lost round 1 to OpTic, right? And then they made the losers run all the way through the tourney to meet FaZe in the grand finals, so it's not guaranteed that this rivalry is over just yet from simply just this weekend. I thought it was quite funny as well that SlasheR, after saying all that, like going pretty hard against them, just says GG's Thieves 1-3-0. So pretty intense stuff, I've got to say. I also probably shared that clip already of Scump talking about the iLLeY situation, which we'll talk about here in a second. And even as messages like, yeah, SlasheR's talking crazy, might be messing with the blood flow, but yeah, nonetheless, FaZe looking to go back to back, and would be odds on the team to do it right now. But they do play Surge next round tomorrow, and that's going to be a banger series on current evidence. Drazah says, you know, that's on me. I know people were saying as well that, like, because Keeks isn't there, you know, like Keeks' girlfriend, she'll be in the crowd, and Drazah will give like the kiss to Keeks, he'll blow a kiss to Keeks in the front row. I don't know if you guys noticed that at all at Major 2, but that's the thing that Drazah was doing. And after he would do that, he'd always fry. With Keeks not there in attendance, it's looking chalked for Drazah and Thieves as it stands. I also wanted to mention that some of the tweets from Nature about this series, because I know that he'd had a few drinks, right? So obviously he was getting a little bit leery, but I thought the passion here was great to see from Nature. Like, you can really tell that he's a true fan of his team and these boys. And as he says, Pain, the boys are so much better than that. I know that for a fact, but we did just get absolutely destroyed. Like, honestly, it does remind me a little bit, to be honest, of the classic FaZe versus Thieves series from the Cold War days, where FaZe did completely own Thieves as it was at the time. And even Nature goes on to say this: I'm frustrated, all good, we go next. And, you know, some pretty unsettling replies here from Nature, as you might well expect. But I just thought it's nice to see the passion that comes across from Nate. He even did a video on Twitter here where, you know, it's a pretty funny camera angle, to be honest. He'd obviously had a few to drink, but, you know, his frustration was evident. And you don't always see this from other owners, right? Like, it's very clear that Nature cares deeply about how this team does and supporting these guys going forward. I know that people said, oh, you know, Hex should do this more often and stuff like this rather than just doing the occasional tweet. So, I don't know. I think different owners have their own perceptions of how they want to interact with this type of stuff. I just think it's nice when the passion comes across here from Nature. Is clearly very invested in the success of this roster. And obviously, Drazah, yeah, no kicks, no dub. On that map 1 hardpoint before, of course, they went on to get 3-0'd. Also got a follow-up here on the iLLeY situation, right? So after last night when iLLeY was, well, tweeting this out, yo, 8,000 likes on this one now. ProLeague replies, and then iLLeY says, what's good, my son, as well. So this is all we have from iLLeY so far. We did also get this from Stanley, though, in the replies, just because, you know, Stanley might be feeling, well, pretty similar what's happened with Stanley's tweet, and he obviously tweets out about, like, Toronto after they lost map 1, he tweeted out, oh, they miss me and all this type of stuff. We've discussed whether that's because of they brought his image up on the broadcast, or whether it's because he thought this team was doing so well with Hicksy, and then they turned it around. iLLeY waited until the series was over to do his tweet, but nonetheless, he seems pretty keen to be like, yeah, look, guys, you dropped me and see what's happening as a result of it. I don't really think that bringing iLLeY back is going to magically fix this team, and honestly, if you look at the numbers over the last several years, it's pretty tragic reading if you're an OpTic fan, to be honest. So in the last, since the Cold War season, they've won 6 winners bracket matches since the start of the Cold War season. 3 of them came in their Major 1 victory in Vanguard. I'm not exactly sure how many this is out of. I don't know if Jacob L says in the replies. But a comparison to FaZe have won 24 winners bracket matches in the same time period, or something like that. So, you know, that comparison is pretty remarkable to think that excluding that Major 1 victory in Vanguard, in the last 3 seasons, they've won 3 matches in winners bracket at the Major, which is, or at any Major, right? Their winners bracket record has not been good at all. And even looking at their overall record, right? Okay, they won the event in Vanguard. They've they've not made another grand finals in the last 3 years. I'm kind of excluding Chicago Huntsmen, Dallas Empire, like all that drama in the Modern Warfare season, because that was a weird season. Modern Warfare 19, 8 team events and stuff. But since Cold War, since it's been OpTic Chicago, and you can consider Dallas Empire, but they had a different team, and they had Krim and obviously Clayster before that, pretty much the only players in CDL history that have actually successfully tamed Shotzzy and Huke into, you know, let's just say consistently impactful players. But yeah, outside of that, they won that one event. They have not made another grand finals. They have 1 top 3 placing. They have 7 top 4 placings. They have like 4 top 6 placings, or maybe I think it's even slightly more than that, I think. And then like 1 top 8 and 1 top 12 or something. So like it's not a good record at all. And I just do wonder like what is actually the play here going forwards, because I know that people now are immediately looking at Hex's decision making to say, oh yeah, we don't need a coach. It's all about, you know, back in the Dynasty days they didn't have a coach, but back then the skill discrepancy between the Dynasty and the rest of the league was so massive they could get away with whatever. And even Formal admitted that when they went into World War II, they got exposed a fair bit because they actually didn't play the game particularly well. They just outskilled everyone they played in the jetpack era, because you could in the jetpack era. And you know, when you actually had to focus on positioning and the like and good teamwork, they weren't quite in such a good position as they were well, going back to boots on the ground, let's say. So I think time will still only tell what this team will do, but today is obviously a big game for them. They play London Royal Ravens in their first match. Gotta give some credit to UpResents here for putting this one together, which I thought was pretty entertaining, comparing the breakdown versus the flank here and some of the potential characters. I mean, honestly, imagine if we got a show match like this. Okay, it might be pretty one-sided. Also, to quickly note here from Stanley and Doug, because I thought this is pretty funny from Attach back in the day as well. I remember sharing this at the time. And Stanley said, if we match up on LAN, it's only right we both play shirtless at center. I believe Doug replies as well. So I guess they're both playing in the Challengers bracket this weekend. So yeah, stay tuned for that one if it occurs. Now, just before we discuss the schedule, this is the bracket as it stands. So Surge, FaZe, Boston Ultra, those are the games going on Saturday. But today, of course, the 4 losers games plus another round. I believe we'll play these 4 games at the bottom here, and then Thieves, Rokkr, Guerrillas, Legion, they'll play again in round 2. I believe that's the next match that happens. And then the winners of the lower side will wait until Saturday. But these are the games then, right? So as I mentioned, if OpTic beat Ravens, they'll play probably New York or the Subliners. But Guerrillas, Legion, I don't know, man. Guerrillas have been semi-impressive to me, to be honest. Like against Surge yesterday, I thought they were pretty good. I'm going to take LAG to win this one. I feel bad for Vegas after getting so close to making winners, but I feel like a top 12 finish might be, you know, might be where it goes for them. I just don't have enough faith in them in the respawns that I do in the Guerrillas right now. And Assault's been playing very well. Then Thieves, Rokkr. I still think Thieves will make this happen, right? I think they're a better team than Minnesota are right now, probably by quite a significant margin. They can make a losers bracket run. They've done it before. I'd expect them to go quite deep here in losers. I mean, if they beat Rokkr, then they play Guerrillas, right? So, or Vegas Legion potentially. So they should be at least top 6. And then, you know, Thieves might have caught fire. We'll see. I think Thieves are going to win this one. OpTic versus Ravens, though, a big series because Ravens actually aren't terrible right now. And of course, yesterday it was the EU Dashy versus Dashy, and today it's, well, not exactly the EU Scump, but, you know, nasty because he's ginger. People said he was like, looks like Scump a little bit. Doesn't really, of course, but whatever. Ravens have been decent, though. I think OpTic in 5 here. I don't think this is going to be super easy for OpTic, but I do think this is the type of series they usually win. And in fairness for OpTic, they've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss for their last like 6 series in a row. And, you know, so they beat FaZe, then they lost to Boston, so I'm going to take them to beat Ravens, and then I'm going to take them to lose to Subliners probably on Saturday, depending on what happens today. But I think the Subliners will get the job done over the Mutineers as well. Could be interesting, but I feel like New York here should be the better team. So yeah, that's all we've got to discuss for today. Really interesting day to come. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.